Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. It is your host David again. I hope that you're having a good morning, afternoon, or evening while watching this video. So feel free to sit back and relax and listen to another paranormal experience from my crazy life. So, let us start. At the age of 3, this particular incident happened when everybody in my family was at home. The apartment was overcast, and to set the scene, we'll begin with an overcast sky. From what I can remember, there was a slight thunderstorm that happened on this day. The sky was starting to get darker and darker as usual, like thunderstorms do, and the apartment had gotten significantly dark. In a matter of about 10 to 15 minutes, the once bright sunny sky was just this overcast, cloudy, thunderstormy looking place. Now, my siblings, we all shared the same room with one another. So I was sharing a room with my brother, and my 2 sisters were sharing rooms with each other, and my mom had a separate room, but her own room. Now, in the apartment, you guys should know that the walls are fairly thick, but you are able to still kind of hear things from the other rooms if it gets too loud. This particular paranormal incident happened in the afternoon, from what I can remember, at around 2 p.m., just as the sky was getting pretty dark. I was busy inside of the living room just playing a whole bunch of little kids' toys. And my 2 siblings, my sisters, were in their room, but their door was closed. So I was just by myself, and my brother had gone to take a nap, and so I was just alone. My mom had also kind of passed out in her room, and her door was also closed as well. The door was locked, and there was just nobody else in the apartment. Now, the strangest thing began in the kitchen. Even though nothing was being cooked and there was nobody inside of the kitchen at the time, the pots and the pans started lightly moving. It wasn't extremely loud for everybody to hear, but it was noticeable enough that you could hear like a very light moving of metal pots and pans. Just enough to notice. So, when I was playing with this toy doll, I think it was a Ernie doll from Sesame Street. It's kind of one of my old childhood toys that was brought to me by, I believe, my dad or from a cousin. So I was playing with this Ernie toy. While I was playing with little Ernie, the pots and the pans inside of the kitchen were kind of moving on the stove. And the old apartment that I grew up in, we had one of those gas burner stoves. We didn't have like the electric convection stoves that most people's apartments probably now have. We just had a gas burning stove where you would turn the knob on the gas stove and then you would see little flames on the burner side. When I went to go and investigate why the pots and pans were moving around on the stove, I noticed something very strange. The gas stove was turned on, but there was no, there weren't any flames that showed up on the stove. But the turner on the stove would make these clicking sounds to kind of indicate that it was being turned on. So somebody, probably somebody invisible, had ended up turning on the stove where I was able to hear the clicking sounds of the stove. But, of course, no fire ended up bursting out. So I ended up turning the knobs back into their off position and ended up walking out of the kitchen. Now, with gas stoves, when the gas is ignited, it has this particular burning, gassy smell. And even though it only lasted for a couple of seconds, everybody in the apartment was able to smell the gas from the stove. So I was pretty much in trouble for presumably playing with the stove, but I remember telling the siblings of mine and my mom that I wasn't playing with the stove, that somebody had turned on the stove, didn't ignite the fire igniter part of the stove, and was just releasing gas. But of course, you know, nobody really believes. So I did get into trouble, yelled at a lot, and then sent into my room where I wasn't able to play with Ernie anymore. It's kind of like a grounded situation for a 3-year-old. When I got to my room, I was told to go and take a nap. So I decided to go and sleep, and I had this really strange dream of still being inside of my apartment, but seeing this dark, shadowy looking person inside of the kitchen. And I know it sounds very strange, but I believe that this person, whoever they were, was out to try to kill me or my family. So in this realm, or the spirit realm place, whatever it was, I remember I was talking to this shadowy looking person, and this person ended up talking to me, and it sounded like a guy with a somewhat deep voice, and he told me that you weren't supposed to notice things inside the kitchen because I was going to end up blowing up the apartment. I remember that I asked the guy, like, who are you? You know that you can't go and be here to try to harm me and my family. I'm not afraid of you. And the person ended up saying, like, well, I don't care if you don't fear me or whatever, but I'm still gonna try to kill you and your family. When you hear that as a 3-year-old kid, of course, you wake up screaming. So I woke up, started crying to the point where my mom, she came into the room and everybody heard me crying. Like, I would not stop crying. It annoyed my brother a lot, and he told me to shut up a lot, but I didn't really care. So when I told my mom about the situation, about seeing this shadowy looking guy who told me that he was going to try to kill the family, my mom said that it was just a bad dream, but she knows that when I say that there's something really bad, then there's something really bad. She ended up doing another incense ceremony situation in the apartment, and I didn't end up having that particular dream anymore. She then asked me if I was dreaming of the guy again. And I remember that I told her, like, no, he ended up leaving. So, in many ways, this particular video was a close call of me almost dying at the age of 3 because of a malevolent spirit. So, I hope that you enjoyed this particular video. I know that it's kind of a short video, but there's still a lot to tell you. So, feel free to subscribe and like the video if you like the video, and I will still continue to make these paranormal vlogs. Take care of yourselves, guys, and I will see you in the next video.